Okay, start na.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God, and the Father, and Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, I pray that can be committed to the goals I set. Please help all of us to reach our goals. Each one of us has dreams and ambitions that we wish to attain. Please give us the strength and determination we need to endure when the going gets tough. Send encouragement into our life to push us. Speak to us through your word and remind us that we can do anything through you. Thank you for equipping us and thank you for giving us the desires and commitments in the first place. I pray that we will remain faithful in Jesus' name. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Alright, thank you so much, John Tabas. And thank you so much everyone for attending our meeting today so that we'll be able to have our reporting. And so the topics we'll be discussing that will be determinants to successful implementation of strategy, implementing and executing strategy, intellectual property assets, organizational monopoly, human resource assets, human resource leverage, marketing assets, and asset management strategies. And so, we have we are assigned with these topics with each one of us. So, I'm going to call out your names for us to have the attendance and for our teacher to identify that you are present today. And can you say present or say your name? Okay. Maria Lorejas,
Present.
Adrian Tolin,
Present.
Ayesa Antaraya, Desiree May Sarsoza,
Present.
Dimsna Padigos,
Present.
Gia Policarpio, January Tabas, Mary Ann Grace Tanudra, Mitiland Noynay, Michael Ryan Tito,
Present.
Patricia May Saicon. Alright, thank you so much everyone. You can now go to the next slide, Ranudra, and Tito, you can proceed to the first topic.
Good afternoon all. I am Michael Ryan Rasco Tito, and I will discuss to you this part of determinants to successful implementation of strategy which good leadership. When we say about good leadership, it is according to the idea of transformational leadership. An effective leader is a person who does the following: creates an inspiring vision of the future, motivates and inspires people to engage with that vision, manage delivery of the vision. Good leadership includes goal-oriented, organized, and influence, observant decision maker, leading indicator, encourage other members, analyze, do actions on the strategy, establishing vision, resourceful, skillful leader, and helpful innovator, and the last, policies oriented, goal oriented, organized. So, when we say goal oriented, means having an individual willingness to achieve a goal set. This willingness encourages and orients the person to develop habits to reach the results expected on this specific goal. And then influence or observant decision maker. Dapat sa mga desisyon nato, observant jud ta para sure na ang atong mga desisyon dili na siya magduduha ba. Then na other members analyze do actions on the strategies. Na natong mga actions ato yung i-analyze para ma kuan jud nato, ma-implement jud nato ang successful organization ba. And the last, leader helpful, nangan sa mga leader na maghatag yun sila ka ng mga idea sa ilang mga employees nga atong mga solution masulbad ra dali.
luan nila ang mga employees nga saan pagsulbad sa mga other problems as a good leader and policies oriented. As an employee or a leader, we should know nga ang atong mga policies sa organization or we are oriented, di ba? Kung makabauta sa atong mga policies, dali na lang nato ma-implement ang successful strategy or ato sa successful organization. And that would be all. Thank you, and we will proceed to the next slide.
So, good day everyone. I am Adrian Tulin and I'll be reporting the other part of determinants to successful implementation of strategy, which is motivating. So, motivating is move people, optimistic outlook, target, initiates, value improvements, action, task, implementers, nimble-witted, give praise and rewards. So, arita sa move people. So, move people is create a friendly work environment and try to be friendly and appealing as possible. Sa optimistic outlook is you need to show hope sa imong mga kauban na that will be successful. So, always be positive. And target. Knowing who your target market is extremely important because it guides the direction of all our marketing efforts. So that you will be able to market directly to people who have an interest in your products or services. Initiates. Diri na katong sugdan na nimo ang imong mga plano. So mao na katong i-execute ang mga plano nimo like monitor progress and provide continued support. Then sa value improvements, so if you want your company to adopt a value-based strategy, you need to approach it with the same seriousness that you apply to any major organizational development effort. Then sa implementers, mao ni katong mga implement nimo yung mga plans, mga plano, action. This is where the plan strategies will be put into action. So you need to put the plan. So task. You need to disseminate the task properly and fairly para walay sa uban way bugat wala sa gaan sa kayo. Then nimble with it. Showing an ability to think or respond quickly and effectively, especially if naay mga problema. Then lastly is give praise and rewards. So being a team leader or boss is no easy job. So getting a little bit of praise is a nice reward. Para katong imo sila i-appreciate sa ilang mga buhat. So that would be all from my report.
So hi everyone, my name is Mary Ann Grace Tanaudja and I am here to tackle about the teamwork. So teamwork stands for team effort, execute the strategy, active learner, motivated to work, working with many parties, intentional management, responsible, knowledgeable. So team effort. Team effort is when which member of the group works hard and hard, then leads to the work becomes easy executing. So then sa executing strategy, din hinakuan ang kanang paghatag og kanang mga assigns sa kanang kuan sa mga group members. Then sa active ideas, kung manjoy ka ng task no nga maglisod ta, so ato ta mo duol sa katong usa ka member nga kanang naa siya'y ideas about ana niya nga topic. Then working with many parties, internal and external to the organization. So at katong based sa katong akong gisulti ganiha, kay any person working many experiences difficulties especially in adjusting his co-workers and do his assigned task, but kung diri sa kaning working many parties, internal and external, kay kung maglisod ka, parehas sa katong lisod ganiha, moduol ra ka ato sa katong imong ka group na naa siya ideas para mahatagan kag idea para mapadali ra ang imong task. Then sa organizational management, each one in this group learn from each other in teams of ideas, technique, and knowledge. Then responsible and promotes working relationship. So knowledgeable, a person who is gifted with skills, has brilliant mind, and has the ability to compete with one another for his promotion and knowledge. And I mean promotion and challenge. And that will be all. And thank you. Nadungog ra ko?
Hmm.
Alright, who's assigned to this one? Let me explain that. So creating fits between requirements for good strategy execution and how organization conduct its business. So this means involving or orchestrating a match or fit between good implementing at ground level. So of course, if you're going to run a business, there must be strategies that you must implement wherein employees, ang mga employees kay makauyon sa iyong operations, and according to the information, a match or fit between good implementing at ground level. So that includes the policies, the rules, or the company culture that you would like to implement about. So, well, yes, some other companies, they would really uh, execute the or strictly implement and ethics and compliance so that employees will have a good character whenever they are working in the company. So that's all for the topic. Proceed to the next slide, please. Next slide, Anutra.
Implementing and executing strategy. A tough management job demands a variety of managerial activities, requires good people, managing variety of initiatives, involve a battle resistant to change, hard to integrate efforts of many different work groups into a smoothly functional whole. So who should be involved in implementing the strategy? So management team. Creating a management team to help delegate roles and responsibilities is an important step for expanding a business. So what is management team? A management team is a group of high-level associates hired by a business owner to take on essential responsibilities within the business. These individuals make up the highest levels of management within a company or business, and each specialize in a different area of managing a business. Management team composes of accounting, marketing, sales, business strategy, and operation, and each team has a different role on how to make the business successful. Second, company's president and chief executive officer. In some corporations and organizations, the president is the leader of the company executive group. The president often refers to someone who is leader of a segment or critical part of the overall company, rather than the leader of overall company. And chief executive officer or CEO is the highest ranking executive in a company. Broadly speaking, a chief executive officer's primary responsibilities include making major corporate decisions, managing the overall operations and resources of a company, acting as the main point of communication between the board of directors and corporate operations. In many cases, the chief executive officer serves services as the public face of the company. Excuse. In some instances, the president is also the CEO. In small businesses, the president might also be the owner of the company. Next, the senior executive. Senior executive is the chief executive officer, chief operating officer, and chief financial officer, or anyone in charge of a principal business unit or function. A person in a senior position who makes decisions and put them into action. Last, head of major departments. So, head of major departments na nasa lima ka mga one. At kung tao ni sila. Number one, general manager. So, is an executive who has the overall responsibility for managing both the revenue and cost elements of a company's income statement. A general manager usually oversees most of all the firm's market. Frequently, the general manager is responsible for effective planning, delegating, coordinating, staffing, organizing, and decision making to attain desirable profit making results for an organization. Second, the marketing manager or marketing department. A marketing manager is responsible for managing the promotion and positioning of a brand of the products and the services to a company's sales. Typically, marketing managers are employed to attract more customers to buy from the company and to raise brand awareness through the creation of marketing campaigns. Third, the operation manager or department. Operation manager have responsibilities in both strategy and day-to-day production in either manufacturing or services. Sometimes called production management, the field is cross-functional, tying in with other departments such as sales, marketing, and finance. It's evolved into product or service creation, development, production, and distribution. For the Chief Financial Officer or the Financial Department, the term Chief Financial Officer or CFO refers to a senior executive responsible for managing the financial action of the company. The CFO's duties include tracking cash flow and financial planning as well as analyzing the company's financial strength and weaknesses and proposing corrective actions. The role of CFO is similar to a treasurer or controller because they are responsible managing the finance and accounting divisions for ensuring the company's financial reports and are accurate and complete in a timely manner. So, sunod, sales manager or sales department. Lead a sales team by providing guidance, training, and mentorship, setting sales quotas and goals, creating sales plans, analyzing data, assigning sales territories, and building their team. Next, the human resource directs, develop, and coordinate the policies, activities, and staff of the human resource department, ensuring legal compliance and implementation of organization mission and talent strategy department, also known as for available quality to the lowest price.
Thank you so much, Tabas. Just want to remind everyone to open your camera whenever you are going to report for your topic.
Is there?
Kindly proceed. Right, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Sir Maybe Sarsosa. So my topic is ways to lead the implementation and execution process. Manager has its own style and strategy. So first, take active. So by being active, visible role or low-key manager should know the impact of supporting their employees in their work. Second, make decisions authoritatively. So authoritative or authority authority authoritative leaders do what it takes to get tasks completed and subject objective meet. When used well, an authoritative leadership style helps managers to make quick, effective decisions and keep employees at their best. So third, delegate much or little. Delegating empowers your team, builds first, and assists with professional development. And for leaders, it helps you learn how to identify who is best suited to tackle tasks or projects. Personally involves in details. Employees feel happy when manager connect with them at a personal level. When manager understand their employees well and vice versa, there is hardly any problem and organizations become a better place to work. Proceed swiftly to achieve results. Knowing employees will lead it to better result and better productivity. That's all. Thank you.
Next slide. So, good afternoon, guys. I am Metalan Noynay, and I'll be the one who present this role of policies in aid of strategy execution. Wait, sa kanila pa. Rule Rule of policies in aid of strategy execution are designed to guide the behavior of management in relation to the pursuit and achievement of strategies, and object policies are instruction for strategy implementation. So, wait a second. Yep. So, provide the top-down guidance. What is provide down and goal project and tasks are determined among of their and communicated to the rest of the organization. And the second is help align internal action. One of the best internal action is communication, because communication is um, damit kay ang communication. Ideas is to create an environment where your employees feel comfortable approaching to their manager to discuss any issues para magkasinabot, because having a team because teamwork is very important, so we need to like being comfortable to express what what is our thought to our manager. Education is an important consideration for a long-term businesses to succeed. It is the key part of the company culture and has a bearing on how employees feel about their work. It feeds directly in the whether your company will be able to attract and keep quality candidates on a long-term basis. Enforce consistency. Consistency means taking a similar approach in a similar circumstances to achieve similar ends. All those involved need to know that they are being treated fairly, and business, in particular, need to know that they are competing with one another on level terms. So the last is serve as powerful level. Level. So first is being friendly, because the most important rules in providing excellent customer service is to be friendly to our customers, so that they will be um, being welcome or comfortable with us. Response promptly. Know your product or service so that if they had a question about our product, we can't answer what they want to know. And also listen to your customer. And the last is get to know your customer. Ask for the feedback if how's our how's our um, how's our product. And also we we can use the feedback to improve our product for the better result and for the successful. So that's all. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. I am Trisha Maydi Saikon, and today I am going to discuss the intellectual property assets. So, it refers to assets that results from the activities of the mind. So, intellectual property is a broad categorical description for the set of intangible assets owned and legally protected by a company or individual from outside use or implementation without consent. So intellectually property assets generally come in the form of trademarks, service marks, software, copyrights, patents, and trade secrets. So service marks, trademarks, designs, logos, seals, and symbols that uniquely develop an individual, group of individuals, or an organization. So trademark is a symbol, phrase, or insignia that recognizable and represents a product that legally separates it from other products. It is exclusively assigned to a company, meaning the company owns the trademark, so that no others may use or copy it. A trademark is often associated with a company's brand. So, for example, the logo and brand name of Coca-Cola. So, it is owned by the Coca-Cola company. Next, please. Next is the software. So, it is organized utilities, programs, and applications that enable computers to work. So, it has two classifications. The first one is the system software. So it is control the basic functions of a computer, usually come pre-installed with computer. So this software, it manages the hardware, data and program files, and other system resources and provides means for the user to control the computer, generally via a graphical user interface. So example of this are Mac OS, Android, and Microsoft Windows, computational science software, game engines, search engines, industrial automation, and software as a service application. So the second one is the application software that handle common and specific tasks like word processing. So application software, or app for short, is software that performs specific tasks for an end user. Effectively, if the user is interacting directly with a piece of software, it is application software. So example of this is Microsoft Word or Excel are application software, as are common web browsers such as Firefox or Google Chrome. Next slide please. Next is the trade secrets. It refers to all types of information, technical or otherwise, like organization, philosophy, programs, strategies, processes, financial data, transaction data, and list of customers and suppliers. So trade secret is a process, tool, mechanism, or formula that is publicly available and is kept secret by its owner to maintain an edge over their competitors. So, for example, a shoemaker, the unique design of the shoe would fall under copyright. Well, the special way the shoemaker produces those shoes by discover can discover and design as a shoemaker is the trade secret kay dili dyan nila ma-discover sa pagtanaw lang sa product. So, that's all. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dea Policarpio, and I'm going to report about the organizational monopoly. So, monopoly ownership, organizational monopoly. It is when an organization possesses intellectual property assets. A monopoly is a dominant position of an industry or a sector by one company to the point of excluding all other variable competitors. Um, a monopoly occurs when one company is the sole provider of a good or service within an industry. Um, organization solely enjoys the opportunity to use this intellectual property, optimize its worth, and enjoy the benefits. So, um, this potentially allows the company to become powerful enough to prevent competitors from entering the marketplace, leading to limited consumer choice, higher prices, and limited response to consumer concerns. It safeguards corporate assets by providing a legal mechanism for brand protection, protection of trade secrets by non disclosure agreements, and provision of patents and copyrights. So, when the government determines that an unfair monopoly is in place, it can step in to enforce antitrust laws, which can penalize companies monetarily or even force a breakup. It allows organization to enjoy low-cost leadership and increase its competitive strength. So, these laws protects consumers and the marketplace from price gouging and lack of competition. Try to imagine if your neighborhood. Try to imagine your neighborhood if there are more than one electric companies in your area. The streets would overrun with utility poles and electric wires as the different companies competed to sign up their customers and then hook up their power lines to house. To prevent this type of chaos, the government allows the utility company to have a monopoly to have a certain location or city. So, for example, sa kanang monopoly is the electric companies. So, maka-observe mo na ang electric companies kay one na siya sa isa ka community kay if daghan kayo og competition or dagag mga electric companies, there would be chaos kay daghan kayo og mga electric poles and then mga wires nga mo dominate sa inyong lugar. So, this is where the monopoly steps in nga kanang isa ra ka organization ang mo-provide ana products or service. But the trade of the government regulates and monitors the utility company, controlling the rates it can charge, regulates customers, controls timing of any rate increases. So, monopolies are also allowed with patents and products like pharmaceuticals. The patent holder benefits from being the sole provider of the new indication until the patent runs out, encouraging innovation and research. So, next slide. Next reporter, please. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Joinik Singan, and I'm the report about human resource assets. So, according to the definition, human resource, this is the organization that drives the workforce
if we are going to talk about workforce, that basically means the employee. So if we're going to talk about human resource, that will be employees. But if we're going to talk about human resource department, so this is the department that handles the employees. And there are a lot of variables that surrounds this human resource department because they're also tasked um, to hire people and to um, screen if they are eligible for the responsibility of the work. And aside to that, um, usually if we're going to apply for a job, skill is a very important aspect. If you have a certain skill, like for example, um, example, in a hotel company, then you nag-graduate na ta, then ikaw, graduate ka, then na naka-skill about baking, so it's it's very advantageous for you to apply to a restaurant because you already have a skill. So if you have a skill, you become an asset to a company, not only in a restaurant or HM industry. Let's say for example in an IT industry, if you're very good about like computers or information technology or about softwares or troubleshooting softwares, then you'll become an asset to the company because not all or not everyone has that skill. So the strength of organization that consists of collective expertise, that's what I'm trying to explain. If this group of people contains skills that is very advantageous for the company, which can result to educational attainment. So if you're na naka-degree sa college, unique and cutting-edge professional competence, relevant and knowledge, and an inclusive, complete, but objective historical knowledge. So, next slide. Okay. Human resource leverage. It refers to the possession of human resource assets create both leverage and competitive edge. So, as I said earlier, if in the future you are already skilled or you're very much knowledgeable about certain responsibilities or roles that would help the company, you will become an asset. Organizations with employees owning remarkable expertise assets. Second, good personal qualities possessed by employees. So it's not all about the skills and performances too. They will also look up to your character or to your value because what's uh, uh, unsa naman na lang ka ng like, yes, you're very much good at that skill, um, you're very knowledgeable, but if you're always absent or late, so so good personal qualities, that is an important factor too when it comes to hiring employees. Managerial, entrepreneurial, and competency assets skills shore up in effectiveness and organizational success. And organizational human centered assets. So if you are able to observe too, usually if employees already have an experience, it tends to be that parang mapalit, like for example mapalit ang experience ba, like um compare if you're going to compare to employees that has no experience and has experience kasagaran kay mas dako jud ilang sweldo kay the company will be assured that they already have more knowledge to that because they were able to work in the real workplace. And aside from that, let's talk about the managerial, entrepreneurial, and competency aspect. And so those managers, especially if managers, ma-apply kang managers, then they had a skills about supervising employees that becomes an asset. And every other thing, there's a lot of things that we can tackle about the employees. the skills, the character, and your expertise. So that's all. Thank you. Next slide, please.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm here for tackle about marketing asset. Ibalik daw sa katong usa. Wait sa. Wait sa. So, marketing asset. These are the result of market-related entangles such as brand, company names, customer loyalty, repeat business distribution channel, contract, and agreements. So, kaan? So, the marketing asset to promote siya og mga product ay siya mo-promote siya product to know nga unsa ang imong ibaligya. Pwede na siya nimo i-promote through brochure, through kanang social media, imo baron kung na kay contact sa mga vloggers or sa mga kanang nasa mga online kay imo bara ni ikuan ngadto ipakita ngadto ang imong brand nga gihimo. That's all. Next slide, please. Next slide. Joy. Next slide na, Joy.
Okay, next slide. Alright, let me explain something about this one. Customer satisfaction is not considered an intangible market asset. Why? Why customer satisfaction is not considered? So, as explained earlier, marketing asset that only refers to the brand or this products. But customer satisfaction is just um it's a result of the company having an effective products and services. It could be that customer satisfaction, yes, it is an important aspect so that companies will be able to have high sales revenue. And aside from customer satisfaction, customer loyalty too. Because with customer loyalty, companies are reassured with their what they call it, sales. Like, assure sila nga na yung mga customer na kuha silang mga products which is according to research that they are the one kanang sila yung mas kanang nakapadako dyan sa sales revenue sa company. And many distribution channels does not automatically assure market control. What is important is the presence of efficient distribution channels that are structured, systemized, and comprehensive. If you were able to remember that one in the operational management, so there's the cycle there that companies to follow so that they'll be able to properly distribute their products. And one example to that is the networking. If you're familiar or if you're able to observe that the social media, there are a lot of networking companies that is trying to get some what they call that members or basta ka nang mo appeal nila ba or people that would join their company. So actually I was able to try that one. I was just too curious. I was just too curious to parang makiba ko unsa man dyan na siya networking and so During the meeting, I found out that they will force you, not really force you, but parang like, they would say good things that would kanang maganhan sa ka ba nga mo invest. Like, because there's a lot of things, the control expenses, if you're going to invest in that one. If you're a business-minded person, then that's good. Maybe you'll be able to consider that. But thinking about investing, especially that I am still a student, wala dyan ko yun. Akong gibuhat kay, akong giblak, nag-refer na ako kay, like, sige man siya dyan, like, sige siya bang i-update, na magpa-invest ka, anaan. Then, thinking that investments, hindi mo na sure, di ba? There's a risk on that. And, student ko niya, wala ko'y kwarta, ang ilang gikuan nga, pautangon ko, no, pag pautang lang, ma'am, bawi na lagi kwarta, like, inga na bitaw, so, ako na, it's too risky in my situation, so, wala ako, wala ko nita yun. So, yeah, so let's create market ascendancy instead organizational alliance and linkage need to be strategic and collaborative. Actually, there's a lot of values that they do promote that they're being polite, they train their members how to be a good sales, what they tell them, um, salesperson o salesman or kung saan influence sa tao nga maganhan na. Like, hindi, to the point na maganhan sa tunta ka pa pero at, at again, as I said, it's not good for my situation at this time. So yes, that's for the marketing assets. Can we proceed to the next slide? Infrastructure assets, that's Maria Lorejas. Okay. Infrastructure assets. From the word infrastructure, what comes to your mind? Diba, if we're going to talk about infrastructure, first, uh, the thing that would come to our mind, diba, it's like the physical aspects of the business, pushing goods to building, or like the equipments used. So that's the infrastructure aspect. So the positive organizational feature like structure, management philosophy, organizational culture, high involvement practices, quality standards and technology that enable an organizational to establish its competitive advantages. Just like to share my experience, when I try to apply to a CP company. So before applying, I tend to investigate the companies first so that I'm able to know if okay na ba or comfortable ba ko sa environment or kailang saan. And one company that stands out in the IT part is the Outlook because ilang mga equipments din daw dito kay saan what they call this upgraded ilang mga equipments. So yes, equipments is like the infrastructure assets because it would help the employees do their work. Okay, next slide. Next slide. So, a lean organizational structure is considered an infrastructure asset when a flat framework is able to beneficially lessen bureaucracy, streamline job tasks, and simplify mode of administration. And organization culture varies in every organization. Managerial and functional work practices typified by high involvement that reinforce competitives are further enhanced when the organization faithfully adopts quality standards. So that's all for the infrastructure. Can you go to the next slide? Asset management strategies. Aya Santaraya. Sige, ako na lang. And so we were able to discuss the different assets earlier. Now we're going to discuss how to properly handle these assets or what we call asset management strategies. So according to the PowerPoint, pillars of effective competitive asset management. So intellectual property assets, human resource assets, market assets, infrastructure assets. So that's what those are the assets that we discussed. Proceed to the next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. So it refers to the knowledge, attitude, skills expected of an individual and carrying out his job task. So going back to the HR asset, so the employees must have the knowledge and attitude skills in carrying out his role in the company. And it must be aligned to the organization's vision and mission, of course, because this is the basis to how will the company move or implement their strategies so that they'll be able to meet their goals. And it is a necessary tool for actualization of organizational plans and the implementation of strategies. And it put emphasis on evaluation and accountability of performance, and it is essential in the attainment of optimum productivity. So usually, if employees will be hired in the company, there's this so-called the orientation. Not just yung orientation, that's to discuss the company's policy, ethics and compliance, and as well as the equipments or tools that needs to be used by the employees. Dili makaditsuwa mo, so that then you are going to work with your role. How will be able to know that if you're not well-oriented? And sometimes other companies, especially to BPO industries, they would really provide training to that so that the employees will be very much effective and they will be musunod sila sa mga policies and ethics and compliance. If you're going to talk about ethics and compliance, those are the attitudes or characters that must be displayed when working inside a company, because it would this is to regulate their actions so that we can prevent the harassment, um, what other things, harassment or bullying, which would make employees uncomfortable working in their place. And one more thing is that, as we discussed earlier about the no, the knowledge assets, or yes, about something like about the knowledge assets, um, especially to BPO industry, they would really um, kanang enforce the or they are really strict in implementing security data to the employees, because sometimes if any informations will kanang makatag or magawa sa public, it is already a risk to them or a hazard, because pwede magamit sa isa lang ka kompetensya nga companies. So in managing assets, so if you'll be able to experience that, there will be orientations that would happen first. So that's why of this strategy so that they'll be able to properly manage those assets. Yes, thank you so much everyone for attending and giving into your part to discuss your topic. And before we end, I would like to explain first about the quiz that will be a multiple based. And then everyone, thank you so much and pwede na tamang out. I hope you'll have a great day.
Thanks, Joy.
Guys.
Thank you, Joy.
Bye.